Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about Night in the Woods.
Yeah, which is a really fun game.
Yes.
Fun little game. So this is a stupid side point, but I've been watching a lot of Bob Ross.
Yeah.
So now in my head I think of things as like a fun little thing or like just a happy little thing. So this is a happy little game.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so this game is about a college dropout, May Borowski, who returns home to the crumbling former mining town of Possum Springs, seeking to resume her aimless former life and reconnect with her friends she left behind. But things aren't the same. Home seems different now, and her friends have grown and changed. Leaves are falling and the wind is growing colder. Strange things are happening as the light fades. And there's something in the woods. Join May on a trip through her hometown and into the dark on the other side.
All right, so a little background on the game. It's developed by Infinite Fall, which is 3 people. So this is a really small studio. It's Alec Hawluka, Scott Benson, and Bethany Hockenberry. And this game actually began as a Kickstarter, and their goal when they put the Kickstarter out was $50K. We want $50K to make this game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their Kickstarter lasted a month, and by the end of the month, they raised over $200K.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So people saw this game, and they were like, oh my god, I'm in. Like, I want it. And so I saw that they hired maybe another animator and a couple other people, but it seemed like the game was still made by maybe 5 people.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So
that's impressive.
Pretty crazy. And that this was a Kickstarter game. It made me want to have a PC that could play games on it.
Yeah.
So I could kickstart things. And, not that you'll get a Night in the Woods every time you do that, but, oh man, that would be sick.
You could be part of something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I funded this game.
Oh, and something that was in there is, so with Kickstarter having those different levels and if you donate this much, you get this reward and blah, blah, blah. Some of the rewards were if you donated a pretty high amount of money, you could have a character based on you in the game. So I think some of those the most NPC characters as you walked around, so to speak, they were probably based on people who donated money to the Kickstarter, which is
that's
kind of
crazy.
cool.
Yeah, that's super sweet.
Like Selma or whatever with the poems kind of thing. She might have been on one that way, which is pretty cool. What a awesome idea and I don't know, kind of a fun thing.
Yeah.
And
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and would feel cool if you helped fund this game and then you're like, oh my god, that one's me.
Yeah, I'm in there.
That's me.
Oh, they did me wrong in that one.
Yeah, or that.
I ain't no bitch.
Yeah, or that. Yeah. You're the old man on that porch.
Yeah, the grumpy old guy that was he a turtle? I think. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So there's basically 4. There's 4 main characters. So you got May. This is who you play as. She's a cat. She's 20 years old and she dropped out of college. She's definitely really snarky and has depression, which is somewhat obvious as you play.
Yes.
Yep. There's B. She's a crocodile. She smokes cigarettes. She's really gloomy, kind of goth, I guess. She's really responsible, and she and May were close before high school. You have Greg, who's a fox, and he's really energetic and rebellious. He wears a leather coat. He looks kind of like a biker.
Yeah.
He's best friend in high school with May, and he dates Angus. And Angus is a big brown bear, and he's quiet, he's friendly, he's a nerd, and he obviously dates Greg because Greg dates him. So.
Yes.
Yep.
So
those are the main characters.
Yeah, that's our kind of main people.
The cast.
Yeah, the cast. So now heading into our recap, the game begins with May returning to Possum Springs from college. And she arrives on this bus stop super late after the bus stop is actually closed. There's janitor fixing the door.
Yes, the raccoons were great.
Yeah, and so she can't leave because he's fixing the door. And he tells her get a pop.
He's she asks him when the door is going to be fixed. He's like, as soon as I drink a pop, you're like, I see.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so, and he tells her how to get a free pop out of the machine. And he's like, I don't tell anyone because it's no, I want free pop.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's funny because this, even just this one interaction of, it being a little annoying trying to get out of the bus and all of that shows you what this game is going to be like. It's full of these funny little weird interactions with people.
Yeah, quirky dialogue.
Yeah. That's what the game is from here on out. Is just, weird, goofy shit. This first intro or whatever really does this. So ultimately May leaves, but she gets outside and her parents forgot to pick her up. And so she has to walk home. And so she walks home through the woods and it's sort of creepy. And you get used to how you move and stuff like that. So it's a side-scrolling game, as we mentioned earlier, but then there's varying things you can jump on and jump up to jump like over a fence and that sort of deal.
Yeah, very vertical.
Yeah. So you do that. Ultimately, you get home and your dad's sitting down watching TV. You're like, you forgot to pick me up. And he's like, you're coming home today? I thought that was tomorrow. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And you're like mean to him for a second, but then you're kind of like, all right, how about this? Let's just both forget this, and tomorrow it'll be like you picked me up and we'll be happy or whatever. And so, this whole picture of, day one getting back, you're like, okay, shit's like goofy and fucked up and like people are sort of silly and have weird interactions. That's this game. If that sounds like something you like, you will like the rest of this game probably. If that sounds like something you don't like, then you probably will not.
Yeah, it's very dialogue based. The story's cool too, but it's if you don't care about character interaction, you could probably miss this one.
Yeah, and also the dialogue, it's all like word bubble style. So there's no there's no voice actors in this game. So all the interactions, it looks a lot like a comic book almost, of like
it does kind of,
like the bubble letters back and forth to each other. It looks a lot like that. So that's kind of what you get. So first day back, May wakes up and talks to her mom before leaving the house.
I liked all these interactions with her mom.
She
seems really cool.
Yeah, I liked her a lot.
Yeah, because every morning you interact with your mom before.
Right.
Jump up on the counter and talk to her.
Yeah. And then,
great.
And then first day back really sets the precedence for what every day forward looks like. After this, you walk around town. You can talk to different side characters. Like I mentioned Selma earlier. She's a cat also, right?
Yeah.
And when you talk to her, she like tells you some gloomy thing, and then she's part of a poetry club, and she'll tell you a poem if you want. And so
really terrible poems.
Yeah, and they're always really silly.
Yeah.
They're like dumb and rhyme silly stuff, and they're kind of that's kind of what
they're enjoyable.
Yeah, it's fun. And so what you end up doing is you can talk to a bunch of side characters around town. You can choose to go to your friend's works. So Greg works at basically like a Quickie Mart kind of thing.
It's called like a Snack Falcon.
Snack Falcon, right.
Yeah, Snack Falcon.
Snack Falcon. So it's basically like a Quickie Mart type of deal, like
corner
store type thing, which he like steals from and things like that.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Right, and
May will just show up. He's like, all right, time to go, and just leave.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he ever works full shifts.
Yeah.
If you ask him to leave, then he closes the store.
Yeah.
So it's
there's like no accountability either, I assume.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. So it's pretty funny that he has this job. Angus works at a video store. Called Video 2.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, something like that. 2 spelled Too.
Yeah, and then B works at a hardware store that's her family's. Her family owns it, and her dad used to manage it, but he has gone under hard times, which we'll probably talk about later. So B manages it instead, and so of the three, she's definitely the hardest working. So she's like really hardcore about like the hardware store needs to do well, and she works hard at that. So you go to your friend's work. While you're walking around, you find an arm on the ground. And you're like, whoa, look at this arm.
Yeah.
And you tell your aunt, who is a cop.
I think she just shows up.
Okay. Yeah, she shows up and you're like, look at this arm.
Yeah, because you're like, you can poke with a stick.
Yeah.
And, you find a tattoo on it. And Greg's like all about it. But B's like, you're tampering with evidence. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, because I poked it.
Yeah, I poked it too.
Yeah.
For sure I poked
but
it.
But her aunt shows up. And then is kind of like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like, she's downplays it a bit more than I would for an arm.
It's like, bro, there's a severed arm on the ground.
Yeah, so that was a little weird.
Yeah.
After this, you go and have band practice because you and Greg and your friend Casey, I think, who is gone.
Yeah.
I think used to have a band.
And B. I think B. Yeah, B plays the drums now.
I think B took over for you when you left.
No, I think she took over for Casey.
Oh, you're right. Okay, she took over.
Because you play the bass, or I play the bass.
Yeah, so May plays bass. That's what it was. So, yeah, B took over for Casey.
Does Angus do anything? I can't remember.
He's vocals, I think.
But
he's.
But
I don't think he was vocals when we were in the band.
Yeah.
So, I think at first it was their longtime friend Casey, who has been missing for a while and has always talked about just leaving.
Yeah, and they think he just jumped a train.
And left.
Yeah.
Got out of Possum Springs. Because a thing that's in this, too, is that Possum Springs is like your kind of shitty small town kind of thing.
Kind of like Arcadia Bay.
Yeah.
You played Life is Strange. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty small town in a state kind of thing, and like you want to get out sort of deal.
Yeah.
That's the whole vibe here, and so it's like, yeah, he finally got out. Or people are kind of like, May, why are you back?
Yeah.
Like, you got out, and now
You
you're
went
here
to college,
again.
yeah.
And then May's just kind of like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty guarded on that, especially day one. But that's kind of our scenario. So we have band practice. We rejoin the band because we're back. So we play bass. Angus is like the screamer.
Yeah.
Greg plays guitar, and B plays the drums through a drum kit.
Yeah, on a laptop.
On a laptop.
Yeah. Or the bassist.
Germ comes and
yeah.
watches. Who?
Yeah.
Germ is what kind of animal is he? He's like a bird.
I think he's a frog. I can't remember.
Yeah. He comes and watches the band practices sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like a friend of Greg's, but he's sort of periphery.
Yeah.
So I talk to him some, but I didn't spend a ton of time with him when I played. But you have band practice. It's kind of fun because it's like Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it's a little mini game.
Yeah, it's a mini game within it. I was not very good at it, personally.
Yeah, I haven't played Guitar Hero in 6 years.
Yeah.
That wasn't the worst, but I didn't excel. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't good at Guitar Hero back then.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this now without a guitar.
Yeah, were they pretty pissed? Like, what are they?
They were
in mine,
mostly
they
like,
were like, it's not the worst.
They were just kind of like, well, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it was a
mine
lot.
was like, that was okay.
They kind of made fun of it. And it was like,
Yeah. Give me some time.
yeah, kind of thing like that. After you have band practice, you go and get pizza together.
Another kind of mini game.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, they have various eating mini games. It seems like
Yeah.
almost where you like grab
Or stealing things.
that happens too.
Yeah.
After eating pizza, you go home and your dad's on the couch. I think not drinking beer. He doesn't drink.
Watching TV.
Watching TV. Watching like late night
Yeah.
talk show, and you can choose to sit down and talk with him. He'll engage with you, and you watch some of this show that was kind of annoying to watch.
I didn't really do this.
Oh, okay.
Or I talked to him to the extent I think I had to, and I was like, I'm going to bed.
Okay, you'd always go to bed before
Yeah.
the show. I'd stay with him, but then you wouldn't usually have much of an interaction afterwards, so I probably should have just went to bed.
Yeah.
You interact with them, and so right here, this ultimately sets a template for day one, shows what each following day will largely consist of, is that you can roam around town, you'll talk to your mom at the beginning of the day and your dad at the end, and as you talk to them, you find more about everyone's lives in the town, really. So with your dad, you find out, like, that he used to drink, but he doesn't anymore, and he's got a worse job than he used to, because the big plant that he used to work at closed down, and so now he works at a deli.
Yeah.
Mom does like administration for the church that's in the town. She does that. She definitely seems to be the more responsible one in the family.
Yeah.
There's like a point where she's like stressed out about money. You talk to her about that a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of real world problems. Like,
Yes.
They did a really good job of. I mean, it's like fun and quirky, but there's also like actual problems that I could relate with, I guess, as we'll talk about more later. But
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
I thought so too. It was like the right level of snark that it's pretty fun and like engaging, but there was just like everything here was pretty real, and maybe out of maybe any game I've played, I've probably hit real things the best.
Yeah, I mean, because Life is Strange, like it felt real, but it was also way extreme because you had superpowers or
Right.
some of the situations were like I probably would never be in that situation. But this game is like, yeah, it's pretty. I guess I don't live in a small town, but I could see how that would be difficult. Or some of the problems are like, oh yeah, moving away and coming back, that would be really difficult.
Right.
All your friends kind of moved on without you, that would be really hard.
Right. Yeah. So they hit those really human issues or whatever real well.
Yeah.
So you get that, and then when you wander around the town, ultimately, what you end up doing on a lot of these is you can either, when you hang out with everyone, there's a point where you can choose to hang out with Greg and that becomes your night, or you can choose to hang out with B and that becomes your night.
Yep.
And that's kind of your trigger to go to the next one. So you could go talk to Greg and then leave and go talk to B, but then you're going to have to choose, do I want to hang out with B or go back to Greg, and then that becomes your night. So that sort of sets the stage for the nights.
Yeah,
whatever.
which I'm probably gonna go back and play this again because I didn't do that much, like outside of like the main. I didn't really talk to that many townspeople or like explore that much, so I think I want to probably go back and do that and play differently too.
Yeah, I mostly talked to Selma when I'd walk because for the first part of the game I didn't climb on the wires that much.
It's funny that you can do that.
Yeah.
They talk about it a lot later.
Yeah. Oh, and if you climb up higher on the wires, there's some of the buildings where you can like talk to someone outside their window.
Oh, yeah.
And I never talked to those
I didn't
people
do that
because
at
I didn't
all.
go up very high.
I think I
very
jumped on the
often.
wire, but I was like, I'm gonna just keep playing.
Yeah.
I didn't really try to meet many people, which is strange because I usually do.
Yeah. I didn't meet all of them, so I think if I play again, I would want to try to talk to everyone every day or something. Like
Yeah.
That sort of deal.
Yeah, I think I would also do the same thing.
Yeah. Then your next kind of bigger event, so to speak, that shows up in the game is that you're going to go to a party.
In the woods.
In the woods.
Yeah.
You get invited by
I think Greg.
and it's like, oh, there's this party in the woods. Do you want to come? And you're like, oh, I didn't know about it, but sure.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And then you have to ask B to give you a ride.
And you're right. Cause
She is the only one that drives.
yeah, B seems to be the only one who drives. You definitely don't.
Yeah. Yep.
And as has been sort of revealed in some of this, is that, like, they've all grown up while you've been gone. They all have to work, and they have some responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't really grown up, and they view you as not grown up when you got back.
Yeah. Well, you don't. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, you kind of haven't grown up. I mean, obviously you have because you've gotten older and learned some stuff. But yeah, I mean, May still seems kind of immature. Which is, I mean, really funny and interesting, but kind of childlike.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, before the party, you get this part where May is talking to herself in the mirror. I really like this part.
Yeah.
So she's like looking at herself in the mirror, and
It kind of made me sad though at the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I liked it, and it was sad. It was like
Yeah.
that blend for sure. And I put a quote down that I liked because I thought it was very reflective of like the feel of the game, the tone, and really a lot of May. Mm-hmm. She says this: just because that online test said that your best chance at being happy is in a situation where everyone already likes you, but they mostly leave you alone except when they're delivering food to you. That doesn't mean you can hide in your room and wait for that to happen. That's how hermits are made, May. And they die alone in the middle of winter waiting for pizza from friends they don't want to see.
Yeah. Pretty sad.
Yeah, it's like she's like trying to pep talk herself, but she's like...
Yeah, and then at various points too, you can like... So you're like talking to yourself in the mirror basically, and you can like critique how round you are, or critique that your face looks like shit, or something like that. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do either of those things. It's
Yeah.
sad. It just made me sad.
Yeah, if she's round, if you go round, she's like, oh, I'm kind of like heavy, or I've got some extra pounds, or something like that. But if you talk about her face, then she says, I have nightmare eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I thought
Which
was
she references later too.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah. She kind of does though. They're pretty...
They're
They're
big.
big and red.
Yeah.
And kind of scary.
Yeah. So you get this look inside of her is that, like, on one hand, May tries to portray this, like, I don't give a fuck, I'm wild and have fun character, but then there's this other side of her that's, like, insecure and uncertain.
Oh yeah, completely.
And so you get that, and again, with that human emotion thing, we're like, yeah, this is legit. This is like a real thing people feel, and
Yep.
and we've felt ourselves before or whatever. So, good job there.
Yep.
Then you make it to the party. You find out that you won't really know people there, but your ex-boyfriend Cole from high school will be there.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh.
He's like a cool raccoon, I think.
Yeah.
Or ferret. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Some kind of mammal, dude.
Yeah.
Mammal guy.
Yeah, and he's cool. And so you get there, and you end up getting super nervous, and so you keep drinking.
Like 3 beers.
Yeah, and get shit-faced.
Super drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, B makes fun of you later for that.
Yeah.
3 watered-down beers.
Right.
Yeah.
B makes fun of you. When you're talking, the, like, drunker you get, your text is more insane.
Yeah.
Or, like, they ask you which one you want to choose, and what you choose doesn't sound like what it is.
Yeah, it's like misspelled and
Yeah.
it's pretty. They did that pretty well.
Yeah. For just reading it, they showed drunk quite well. While May is drunk, she ends up embarrassing herself, and she's mean to her ex-boyfriend Cole.
Yeah, for pretty much no reason.
Yeah, it's strange because you can like try to talk to him before this, and it's kind of nice. And then there's this like moment where he like comes to talk to you when you're shit faced, and you're like, you think you're better than me?
Yeah.
And like, start just going in on him,
Yeah.
and he's like, I don't know why you're being this way. Like, I'm just happy to see you, and you're like, just being mean.
Yep. He was pretty cool about it.
Yeah, he took it. He was cool about it, and May was just kind of bad in it after she like blows it and realizes she does and is super drunk. She says, "I'm a trash man."
Yeah. Then she pukes.
Yeah, then she pukes. It was great.
Yeah.
Super funny and ridiculous. After this, B ends up taking May home because May's so drunk.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you get like the most drunk conversation.
Yeah. It's also like some of the realest.
Yeah.
Or B's super real for the first time.
Yeah, B is real. Because in this time, too, there's been some tension between May and B where B's not shitting on May quite, but she's not responsive either.
Yeah, she's like really cold.
Yeah.
Sarcastic, but like in a... Not like a friendly, haha, like, I'm going to poke fun at you because we're friends way. It's more of like a, go away, I'm sarcastic kind of way.
Uh-huh. And on this conversation... B says, "Don't throw up in my car," and May's like, "I won't throw up in your car. I don't want to make your mom mad or whatever."
Yeah.
B's like, "What do you mean?" And
Yeah.
B's like, "Your mom, she's such a nice lady." And you're like, "My mom died senior year of high school."
Yeah.
It's just like, oof.
Oh, you forgot that?
Fuck, May.
Yeah.
And May's like, "Oh my god, I forgot. I didn't know. I'm so sorry," and like cries a bunch.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
And B's rightfully pretty upset.
Yeah, B is like a combo of pretty upset, but like she also knows May's drunken, so she's kind of like, this isn't gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, she does say something like, used to be cool and smart in high school. She kind of shits on her a little bit.
Yeah, because she's like, you know, like that. You had potential, but now you just stick around, kind of thing.
Yeah, you like wasted it all. Like, what happened to you? What's wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah.
You quit college. Like, what kind of asshole are you?
Yeah, like you made it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. That makes me think too that they must have, like, I wonder if May didn't even know, like, if she was so disconnected from B by the time her mom died that
Yeah.
May didn't even know.
Yeah.
And B never told her directly, so May just didn't know or think about it. Because I could see her being kind of just aloof / selfish and just having fun with Greg and Casey.
Yeah.
That seems like they just like to do crimes.
Yeah, and she was like dating Cole too. Like maybe she was cooler or more popular or something.
Yeah.
Made it out and then came crawling back.
Yeah, something like that. Ultimately, they get to May's house, and B takes her inside and puts her to bed because May's super drunk.
Really drunk, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time, but another sequence gets added that happens every or most days, which is you have these really weird dreams.
Yeah, I did not like these very much. I mean, it was interesting, but I just could have done without them, I think.
I liked them sort of. I liked them when I could like find the stuff quick because I liked the music in it. Like I thought that sounded pretty cool. So what ends up happening essentially is you end up either like turning on lights and there's like 4 corners where there's different musician playing.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go around the map in some manner and it becomes like a full song and then your dream's over.
Yeah.
There's one where you're smashing stuff with a bat. That one was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was like a lightsaber bat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of this, it just felt tedious and didn't really add anything. I guess it added depth to May as it has like these fucked up dreams, I guess, and she's got issues, but I don't know. I wish they would have added maybe an extra day and took out this stuff from the game.
Yeah. No,
personally.
I could see that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're definitely bizarre for sure.
Not terrible. I don't want to dissuade people from enjoying them, but personally, it's like, I could probably do without. I just hate having to find like scavenger hunts like that. So let me move past it. Give me the option to not do this.
Sure. I enjoyed most of them. There was one where I couldn't find one of the guys for a little while. Yeah. I didn't like that. That made me a little annoyed. But
yeah. I don't know. It just kind of breaks up the. It's kind of like Life is Strange, where you have the Nightmare Max, and you're like, that too is like. I mean, it adds depth, and you need that, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. I can definitely see that. So yeah, that's introduced as a new thing that happens basically in your kind of daily cycle.
Yeah.
Ongoingly. Your next big event is an event called Harfest, which is the day before Halloween.
Yeah. Harfest.
And this is the like town's holiday.
Yeah.
The like town's founding holiday kind of thing.
Yeah,
something like that. I was gonna say like Columbus Day, but that's not what Columbus Day is.
No.
Columbus Day is very different than that.
I don't even know what Columbus Day is. You get work off sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Depending on where you work
or school.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah. So Harfest. Anyway, Harfest is their event. You end up going to B's store for the Harfest play because B is part of like the town work committee thing.
Yeah.
She's basically like
Chamber of Commerce, I think.
Yeah. So she's like becoming again more involved with the town and being an adult and stuff. And so she's like, cool, we'll host this. And we go to the store. We're dressed up in our Halloween costume. It was kind of fun. It's like a pointed hat with a sword through it.
Yeah.
And we end up helping perform in the Harfest play, which tells the story of how the town got founded.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was pretty silly. Yeah, so we meet then. It's fun. It seems like a big town event that everyone enjoys, basically. So we do that. After the play, we look outside and we see a person get snatched.
Yeah.
Which we're disturbed by. We're like, we saw an arm since we've been home and we saw someone get snatched.
Yeah, like a day.
Yeah, like what's going on? Like we haven't been back that long. So after this, our next kind of big event, which kind of is where the story in this game really shifts.
Yep.
So before this, it's been a lot of that day in the life, kind of fun, little interactions from here. Here on, we kind of go into like a Detective May mode, so to speak. And so the search begins. We have a band practice again. Oh, I guess talking before that, mini games that you can do with this. So you've got your band practice, but also you can like practice your bass inside your house if you wanted.
I never did that.
I didn't either. I wasn't good enough at it to want to try to get better.
Just give me the story.
Yeah, and then she also had a computer where you could play a computer game.
Yeah, the Demon Tower or something.
Yeah.
I didn't really do that either.
I only played once.
Yeah. Was it pretty fun?
It was all right. Like it was fun. I think if I was a person who wanted to do all the mini games and get into it, I would. But like, I don't know. If the mini games aren't too easy,
yeah,
then I don't want to like work really hard to get good at. Like Hot Dog Man, that cell phone game. Like I played it a little bit, but I'm not gonna like learn how to get really good.
Yeah,
at
no,
it.
it's not why you're playing the game in the first place.
Right. So, but I mean, they're fun to have. It's like little side things. Anyway. Search begins after band practice. You end up telling all of them about the kidnapping, and your theory right now is that it's Ghost, because it was like a person who didn't seem to be there, and then they grabbed something, and before you knew it, they were over this fence that like a person couldn't have jumped over that easily, and your aunt, the cop, had shown up before there and like, oh, I didn't see anyone, and like, you can't jump this like with a person on you, like, blah blah blah, and like, no one's been reported missing, and so it's kind of this weird like. No one really believes you, but you're like, I've seen these two weird things. Like, there's something weird going on.
Yeah, something. If there's a severed arm on the ground, that alone is enough to believe that other weird things are happening too. Like, come on.
I agree.
Come on, cop.
Yeah, she's oddly like nonchalant.
Yeah.
So after this, we tell them, and they're like, okay, well, like, B's willing to humor us, so her and May go to the library to search for clues.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hit the library, gang.
Right.
Like, why?
Yeah. So they go to the library and they find these like old newspapers, and they basically like try to find clues from anything weird that's happened in our town's history.
Yeah.
And they end up finding 3 locations where past weird stuff has sort of happened. You find out about an abandoned house, a graveyard, and then the park. And each person says, okay, I'll take this. So Greg says, I'll do the abandoned house. I've been there before, whatever. B says, I'll do the graveyard. I go there to see my mom sometimes, so we could just pair this. And then Angus says, oh, I used to be a Boy Scout. I'll go to the park with you. I used to love hiking or whatever. And what ends up happening is that you can do 2/3 of these. I didn't realize this at the time, but you can do 2/3 of them.
Yep.
So for me, I did Graveyard and the Park. So I did B and then Angus.
I did B and then Greg.
Okay. So you did those two. So
the house and the graveyard.
What happens at the house?
It's similar to like I assume what happens at the park and the graveyard. But you basically break into the house and you're like exploring, and then you find this like some kind of elevator, like dumbwaiter type thingy, I think.
Okay.
And you get in it and you go to the basement. Or I forget, the basement or the attic, and you're like exploring, and then someone else comes up the elevator too, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? And then you like escape, and it's really fucking close and really crazy. So you think it's a ghost or something like that.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, Yeah, it was cool.
So at the graveyard, you go and you kind of look at different names on the graves. B goes and visits her mom.
Give her some space.
You give her some space. Then you have to pass through those boys who are like cutting off part of the graveyard.
Yeah.
You have to tell an embarrassing story. I forget what ours was, but they were whatever mine was that I shared. I think it was about something with Casey that went wrong for mine, because you could share an embarrassing like middle school, high school, or college story. I think.
Yeah.
Those were your options, or not Casey with Cole.
Yeah.
I think that's what my story was that I chose.
I can't remember what I chose.
I chose the high school one, but I imagine whatever story you tell. The one I told though, which I don't remember the details of, but you tell it and they're like, "Oh my god, that's horrible." Yeah, you can go through. Like it's really funny. Like they're like, it's not even funny. It's just sad.
Yeah, it's just that's how I feel.
Which is pretty funny. Like how it goes is like you'll get those reactions with May. Also, all the young kids think she's old and call her old.
Yeah, just only 20. I wish I was 20.
Yeah, I wish I was 20, but I guess as a 14-year-old, you probably thought like, "Oh wow, you're old, May."
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's pretty funny. Like you've got this kind of silly dynamic. So you do that, and then you break into a part of the graveyard that you weren't supposed to be able to get into, and then you like break a tombstone and run away because you get scared and are like realize it's kind of messed up. And
always breaking things.
Vandalism or whatever.
Yeah, not cool.
With Angus, so you end up walking through the park, and you end up as you're going, like he has asthma, so he has to slow down. So you like do that, and you go up to the top. But then you get to the top, and you look at the stars. And so it's actually really similar to Walking Dead, where you make the stars with Violet. But so you make the stars, and then he tells you about them because he like knows about them.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Smart.
Yeah, he's smart, and so you similar to the Walking Dead final season when you do this, you like connect the line to make the stars, and then it's a shape of something, and you like see it, and then he's like, oh, that's this, who blah 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 blah. In this part too, you get like the maybe realest conversation in the whole game. You talk to Angus, and he tells you about his family life. It's like super rough. His dad like. I think his mom like used to like lock him in the closet or something like that and like not feed him, kind of thing like that. And his like dad left and he doesn't know where he is, and he's like, I don't care. Like he was a shithead the whole time, and like maybe hit him or something like it was like
pretty rough,
some hardcore shit. But he's like just opens up while they're doing the star game, and you're like, man, this is wild.
Yeah, I didn't do this one.
Yeah, it was a really good. Definitely do it when you play again. Okay. It's like a good scene. I thought it was pretty powerful and stuff. And I think that Walking Dead had to have gotten the star idea from this game. Had to have, because you would assume they played this game, because like if you make games like Telltale games, you've got to play a game like this. Like this is your brand. This is like your genre.
They get some inspiration from it.
Yeah, and
or just steal it directly.
Borrow some concept.
Yeah.
I guess Walking Dead, though, used it as like a 4-year relationship. Instead of this one, it was like Angus just explaining regular stuff to you, but also sharing personal info.
Yeah.
But it's a little different, but still. Ultimately, though, after you do your 2 places you visit, the group regathers and they visit the woods together. While they're visiting the woods together, they see these cult members kill someone for leaving an arm in town.
Like, we saw that arm. Pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, this was wild. I didn't expect a turn like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, of all places, like this weird small town, like a cult here? Like what? There's like 30 people in the town. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
It's bizarre. Ultimately, you all run away and you end up blacking out. So after the blackout, you're like fucked up. You're super out of it. You're fatigued. You end up passing out. You end up sleeping a lot. Like, it's bad. And what you end up revealing in this is that you've got this disassociation order where you disassociate, like, people from reality or yourself from reality. So instead of seeing them as they are, you, like, see shapes. Yeah. And stuff like this. And you reveal that there's, like, a kid who you notoriously, like, hit with a baseball bat in high school. And you reveal that you had, like, a psychotic episode or whatever back then that like this disassociation showed up for the first time in, or whatever, and so that's like somehow how that like happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, your doctor, Dr. Hank, who
Dr. Hank
is the doctor for all of Possum Springs and basically prescribes weird shit for everything.
Yep.
But his thing was to keep a journal. So through this, you keep a journal the whole game. It's not as in depth or something like that as like Max's in Life is Strange. Instead, it's usually like a picture or like a few words or like that kind of thing. So it's like it's a recap in some senses of your experience, but it's very like shorter imagery to show the recap instead of like Max writing paragraphs or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have that, and she also reveals that this is what had happened. Now my dissociative disorder kicked up here. That's why I blacked out. That's why this had happened, because it seems like the stress mounting can cause disassociation, and her stress has been mounting through the game, and maybe the dreams have been a reflection of that sort of.
Yeah.
Like
I would assume they're connected somehow.
They seem connected because it sounds like she's been dreaming more because of being here and because of they seem to be related in some manner. So we find out about that, which is heavy, and like everyone's like, I didn't know that, like concerned.
Yeah.
After this, the group returns to where they saw the cult members, and they go into a mine shaft that was like a little behind that. They make it to the mine shaft, and they confront the cult.
Which is crazy.
Which is wild.
Yep.
The cult reveals to them that they kill lowlifes that they feed to what they call the black goat, which is this voice that you can kind of like hear in the mine shaft, sort of. And they're kind of like, oh, I know you hear the voice too. And it's kind of like, I don't know about that.
It's like, whoa, dude. Chill.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. And we find out that they actually also had killed Casey. So Casey never went missing, but they sacrificed him to the black goat. And the reason they do these sacrifices, they believe that by sacrificing to that, then it will bring prosperity to the town. So without this, like a god, so to speak, keeping the town in check, then the town would like devolve into super poverty and all that stuff,
which is just wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you get the thinking like this is how cults happen or whatever, but you're like, that shit's wild.
Like, how do you get there from normal?
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy twist or turn, I guess.
Yeah, it really is. And you find out that like Casey, they were like, he was a lowlife, he didn't do anything, he's a junkie, no one's gonna miss him, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you can't decide that. And that's kind of like the thing you're like,
we miss him.
Yeah, we miss him. You can't just kill people because you think they don't matter or something like. So after this, we run away from the cult, and there's this elevator that we're like going up as we like escape from them, and the cult member we've had the most run-ins with, I guess, he like tries to grab us our leg as we're like exiting the elevator, and we ultimately like break the elevator, and it like smashes down on him, and everyone in the mine shaft is trapped down there.
Yep, which is sweet.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And so now we're like making our way through the like messed up mine shaft through a way, and we end up climbing out through this well that is at Germ's house, actually. And so once we get out and we all make it out, we're like, hey, could you like throw dynamite down there and like blow it up and then fill it up with dirt or something like that? And he's like, yeah, I got it.
It's just like, no questions asked.
Yeah, he's like, sure.
Yeah.
I got you. No one uses that well.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah, which is funny. It's like, my guy.
Yeah. You bought that action.
Yeah. Right. It's fun. Germs down.
Yeah.
So you get that. Then we've got our last day. And our last day, we roam around town one last time. And then we ultimately have band practice with our friends. That's great. And then after band practice, actually, I think it's right before band practice, but I think I've ordered this wrong. But then there's two potential endings you can have. And the endings are based on who you spent more time with. So for me, I spent more time with B.
Same.
I don't think I intentionally spent more time with B. I tried to kind of alternate, but I did end up spending more time with B.
Yeah.
Like on the last one where I'd spent time with Angus, I don't know what would have happened if I spent time with Greg, like if it would have still been even or not. But
yeah, I got the B ending, but I chose B. Every choice I could, I think I chose her.
Okay.
Especially because after the party, I felt really bad.
Yeah.
So I made fun of her. Not make fun. I forgot her mom died. I was like, all right, we're going to be cool again.
Right.
But I also liked Greg, but he seemed cool with having Angus. And
Yeah.
Bee seemed more alone, so that's why I chose her more.
No, that's true. That would make me definitely feel better about choosing B. And so
Yeah.
when I ended up having more B ultimately, I was like, that's fine. Like Angus, or not Angus, but Greg is fine. He doesn't feel as alone as B would. So
Yeah.
it feels like the, it feels good. I don't know, maybe more quote unquote mature or something.
Yeah.
So Adam on Twitter wrote in and he said he'd spent more time with B.
Stolar Punk on Twitter says B.
And then Some Night in the Woods on Twitter said B.
So most people, like at least that responded to us, said B. So I think I get that.
Yeah.
That's what I chose. That's
Yep.
what you chose. So
Yep.
makes sense.
So the two endings. The Greg ending is May will ask Greg if she can move to Bright Harbor with him and Angus, because that's their kind of goal, is once they save up enough money, they're getting out of Possum Springs. It's supposed to be like a little bit nicer of a town that's sort of nearby.
Okay.
And Greg politely refuses and says, no, that's kind of a me and Angus thing. But you can come visit all the time you want, but like we're not looking for roommates, basically.
That's kind of shitty.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. That makes sense, but like at the
Yeah.
same time, you're like,
I feel like it's him like setting grown-up boundaries for her, which is good. Because I guess if you spend more time with Greg, you've just been having fun. Because like one of the times I hung out with him, we just smashed glass.
yeah, you you destroy cars and like
do crimes.
yeah, it's just pretty fun, but
It's super fun, but
yeah,
so I wonder if that's him kind of being like, no, like my life is serious sometimes, or something. So he politely refuses, and I watched the clip of this, and like May's cool. It's not like she like feels shit on or something.
that's good.
Yeah, so that's nice. Then the B ending, May suggests to B that they go on a road trip together to get out of Possum Springs for a while. She tells B that, we've been home enough. And that this episode of, like, derealization that she's had, this disassociation thing, that wouldn't happen while they're on the road together because they're having fun. It's not stressful, blah, blah, blah. So you have that go.
It seems like a better ending to me.
Yeah, I feel happy with what I got.
Yep.
Also, in this, in your conversation, you can talk about whether you should tell Casey's parents about what happened.
Yeah.
Which I believe I said yes.
I said yes too because
Yeah, it seemed.
probably should let them know.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping that all the people in the mine shaft are dead by now.
Yeah, you can let the cops know and go check them out.
Yeah, because I hope the cult members are all dead. Personally,
They reference. Oh yeah, same. But I think they even reference that they're all probably dead now, or they will be.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be the thing that would delay me speaking a little bit. Is like I kind of would want them all to be dead, and then kind of be like, oh, you should check that out. Because like, I don't want them to keep doing this. So it would be
Just
better.
buy a gun and go down there and
Get them.
double tap.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Did I'll ask now because I thought of it. Did you get in the knife fight?
No, I chose B. I know what you're talking about.
I didn't.
That's with Greg.
Okay.
I think.
I didn't get in that interaction, but I saw there was a knife fight, and I thought
Yeah, it's like
that
a mini. It's like a mini game.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I heard about that online too. It was like.
I was like, when was there a knife fight?
Yeah, it's not like a real knife fight.
Okay.
I think it's like you and Greg are doing this weird game, and
Oh, that's
you
fun.
have I mean, they're not real knives. I think they're like plastic or something. But
Sure.
yeah, I chose. If you'd chosen Greg for maybe the second day or first day, I forget which one.
Okay.
Then you end up doing that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My next question was, who was your favorite character? For me, I put May as my favorite, and then Angus as my close second. Just that time with Angus on the at the park and him sharing that stuff. I thought that was really great and like cool character stuff. But May being my favorite, I don't relate to her in all ways, but I do relate in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
With her figuring out where your place is, or like I dropped out of college before and I went back, but like that kind of confusion or lost or like that sort of stuff. Like that's pretty relatable, and I feel like I've been there at different points and. I really liked her as a character, and even like her sarcasm and stuff that totally appeals to being like a millennial.
Love it.
I think like it's perfect. Like she would love memes if they were around in her timeline
for sure,
or whatever. Like it's great. So I really liked her.
Yeah, May was my favorite too. Similar reasons. Her dialogue was so funny, and not even things you could pick, but just things she would say. Like her character as a whole was like. You're cool. I would for sure drink a beer with you.
Oh, yeah.
And I can relate, not the disassociation disorder, but like depression, shit like that.
Right.
But so some of that was like, I like to sleep a lot too when I get depressed. I get that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a comment that comes through the game a lot. It's like, oh, you're up. Like,
Yeah.
May gets a lot of those things.
Yeah.
from
Like,
people.
oh, you're doing things. You're awake. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
When are you
thanks.
going to get a job?
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
I
like,
freaking feel like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of those.
Yeah, you get people with a view of you.
Yeah.
For sure. Which, whatever. But yeah, and I think Greg was my second favorite character, and I didn't spend much time with him because I felt bad not spending time with B.
Right.
But that first interaction with Greg when he go in the store and his arms are wiggling around, it's like, dude, this guy's awesome. Like, oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it was
His
so
arms
great.
are
He
shaking.
sees you and is like, man,
Yeah.
shaking his arms.
The
Oh, my God.
animation's so good. His arms are just wiggling. And
That's so fun.
I think the first and second day he sees you, he's so excited. And
Yeah.
his arms are wiggling, and I just liked him a lot. And then you have interaction with him too, where he has cups on his ears, and he's like, I'm trying to hear the ocean. You're like, dude, you look so stupid.
This is so
It was
fun.
just really funny.
He's fun because you
Yeah.
can just like be snarky and crazy with him because he's into it. Like you just roll. If they decide to make like a mini game of you, him, and Casey hanging out doing crimes,
Yeah.
as Greg says,
Yeah.
it would be great. It would be
I'd
so
play
fun.
it.
I would totally play that.
Yeah, so I like those two. And if I play again, I'd probably spend more time with Greg, and then do the stargazing thing with Angus.
Yeah, I feel like if I play again, I might go like a full Greg and a full B play.
Yeah.
Because since I kind of straddled the middle a little more. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like I'd do those and then see all the NPCs or whatever, the more ones. So, yeah. Boo on Twitter wrote in and said they spent more time with B.
Solarpunk on Twitter says, B, I was in a very similar situation at the time I played the game, so I could really relate to her in a big way.
Adam on Twitter said, that's really tough. All of your friends had their great own moments, from knife fighting with Greg to the heart-to-heart with Angus, but I spent most of my time with B, so I guess that means she wins. But I could probably make a case for any of them.
Yeah, they're all really cool.
Yeah, I found this game full of meaningful interactions for sure, and like that really felt something.
Simone on Twitter says, May, quote-unquote, nightmare eyes, Borowski all the way. I really relate with that feeling of being lost and directionless, of all your friends growing up without her and leaving her behind. Also, the way her mental illness is depicted really hit home for me. Yeah, I guess I can't relate with, like, the friends growing up without you thing, because, like, I feel like I've grown up in tandem with my friends, but, like, that would be really hard. And I can almost picture it.
Yeah.
Like, I think they did a really good job describing that. And even the mental illness stuff, like, again, I don't have that same thing, but, like, I get it.
Yeah, it's relatable or understandable really well, and you're like, that would be hard or hurtful to be in this or that situation or whatever. So I thought that was cool. Dave on Twitter wrote in and said, May, one of the only mentally ill characters I've seen in the game that struggles with her issues and isn't just solved by the power of friendship or a magical pep talk.
That's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yep.
I think that's what's so great about a lot in this game is that everything's just like regular people with real issues and regular things. Like, I mean,
But they're animals.
Yeah, but they're animals, and
Yeah.
there's a cult thing, but like otherwise, like it's all pretty normal, and you kind of work within normal things. Like, okay, normal people have different flaws or challenges or whatever, and I like that a lot of how they've managed to do that. I don't know. I think a lot of games would probably botch this or something, but they really hit it.
Yeah, for the few people that worked on this game, they did a really good job.
I agree. Next question was, what was your favorite moment in the game? So, as we mentioned, that recap we gave is really pretty brief. Like, there's so many moments that you can have, and some that we didn't have, by spending more time with B.
Yep.
There were fun Greg interactions we missed, or vice versa, that kind of stuff. So there's, I don't know, a lot of moments that you could experience. So that was the thought. Tomorrow Heart on Twitter wrote in and said, meeting God, a.k.a. Cthulhu, said the universe is forgetting you. So I think this is from one of our dreams, right, that we have where we meet God and he's kind of not very cool.
I sort of remember that dream, but I also just was like, dreams.
Yeah, I think
I played through them real quick.
I think you end up meeting God in your dream and he's super indifferent and you're like, what the hell, God?
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
kind of the thing. So,
Yeah. Adam on Twitter says, not really one moment, but I really enjoyed your morning talks with your mom and nighttime chats with your dad. There were always good ways to kick off and then wrap up your day. I like those too. I loved the mom moments where you'd say, morning, mom. She's like, I'm 24/7, mom. You're like, okay, mom. Just mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
I love those.
I like those too, and their fight was really good. Where there's a part where mom is stressed out about finances because I think they went on a limb with their money for May to go to college.
Yeah.
And since May's gotten back from college, she hasn't told anyone why she's left, so it looks or could feel like, oh, you're just quitting, like you're a quitter or something like that. And so her mom's stressed out, and they end up getting in a fight about it. And you're like, oh, don't fight. I don't like this. Like,
it's so sad.
Mom, I like you. And like, May, don't be dumb. Like, just reconcile. But they
be
don't.
honest.
Just tell her why.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, no, you wouldn't understand. And just like leave.
You're not 16, you're 20. Come on. You're an adult.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. But I totally agree with Adam. It was such a good way to cap your day of like just getting these things. And like even in that, like waking up and checking your IM and then checking it again before you go to bed. Or whatever. Like,
it was pretty cool.
It was great.
Yeah.
Really good. Thomas on Twitter wrote in and said, Greg. Just Greg. Everything to do with Greg. Greg forever.
Greg was really fun.
Yeah. Totally super, super fun.
We got Alex on Twitter, says doing crimes.
Yep.
Which happened a lot.
Yeah, another Greg lover. Yep. Solarpunk on Twitter wrote, May and B having a heart-to-heart by the river in the college town. Oh, this was great. This was maybe my favorite, like, do a thing with a person afterwards. So you go to a nearby college town with B, where B hangs out with, like, college kids who are from a different area. And it's like her one time a month basically to hang out with like young people and like get to sort of live the college lifestyle despite not being in college herself, but it's like her way of getting that. And so you end up like meeting with her friends, you get to go dance. That was pretty fun. Yeah. I really like dancing. That was super fun.
I didn't dislike it. I just hate dancing in real life, so I was like, I don't like this based on principle.
Fair. I thought that was really fun. But ultimately you end up like blowing it by revealing that B's not in college, which they all thought she was, and so B gets mad and runs away and runs down by the river. You end up like catching up with her and have like a really meaningful conversation there. That was cool. It was like we're friends. We're like best friends now. Like it was a moment like that where you like got to apologize for blowing it, but then kind of choose to like be friends together kind of thing.
Reconcile.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really good
meaningful
moment.
Yeah. We got Dave on Twitter says, pretending to be God at the mall. So this was really good. You go to this mall I used to go to as a kid, and you like get up in the rafters somehow, and you like control this fountain, and you like squirt people with water, and then you talk on the intercom about basically I'm God. And it was pretty funny.
That was
B
great.
loves it.
Yeah. And you spray people with the fountain.
Yeah.
Too?
And they're like freaking out, and don't know where it's coming from. And you're like, yep, I'm doing this.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I like that too. I felt like too of like the being pranky or doing crimes with B. This was a good one, like not like stealing stuff or other stuff. Like this one felt like one she would be more comfortable with being sort of a part of.
Yeah, it was pretty innocent.
Since she's pretty serious, but this is more innocent and that kind of thing. So I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
Mike on Twitter said this scene was incredible, and he had a screenshot of it. And the scene is at Donut Wolf. If you hang out with Greg, Angus, and May go to Donut Wolf, and you eat a bunch of donuts and stuff.
I love donuts.
Yeah. It's very funny. May eats too many and gets sick.
I'm sure.
As she would. And then Angus and Greg make a comment about how it's difficult being the only queer people in town. Just being in their small town, like we feel like outsiders, sort of thing like that. And May has like a good conversation with them there. So
sounds cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Good stuff. I guess now moving on to kind of general thoughts about the game. For me, I really, really love this game. I liked it a lot. Like I came in with some expectations thinking I'd like it, and it very much surpassed them. And I think for me, this is probably one of my, 3 favorite games that I've played this year so far. Like,
nice.
It's been super enjoyable. Like, we've played a lot of good games, I think, even in the last 6 months. But this one just really struck a chord in a lot of good ways, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, too. Let me combine 2 points here. So, yes, I agree. I loved almost everything about the game, except the dream sequences. Right. Even those I didn't hate. It was more of like the only blemish, in my opinion, on the game, which is pretty minor at best.
Right, yeah.
But so I grew up and I was like, I don't know, 10 playing Animal Crossing on GameCube. And I played way too much of that game. This game felt like a more adult indie story dialogue driven Animal Crossing game.
That's awesome.
'Cause Animal Crossing, you play as this. You're actually a person in a town of animals.
Oh, okay.
And you like buy a house and you can like do random shit and like it's like a kind of like a life simulator, but it's really cartoony and for like kids, kind of, I guess. But I'm
Sure.
whatever. I love that. So it kind of reminded me of that, but more adult with like actual issues.
No, yeah,
and a side scroller, not open town world type game. Yeah.
Was Animal Crossing kind of like The Sims meets this kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good way to
Almost.
put it. Yeah, it was like that, and actually, yeah, that's a really good way to put that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's got a pretty cult following too, though. Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I saw at E3 they said they're making a third one for the Switch.
Yeah.
And because the last one was GameCube, right?
No, I think it was Nintendo. Maybe it was DS or 3DS. I forget.
But it's been like quite a while.
Oh yeah, it's
since they've released any
It's probably
Animal
been
Crossing
like
game.
four plus years.
Well, and was GameCube the last mainline game, like the big game? Maybe?
I think
like not
so.
handheld.
Yeah, I never owned a Wii, and I don't think they came out with one for the Wii.
So that's like pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
This is a big deal that they're doing
Yeah.
it.
I
I saw a lot of people were excited online about it.
Yeah,
So.
and even Animal Crossing, like, there's no like, there's no voice acting. It's all like text bubbles.
Okay, cool.
So it kind of reminded me of that too. It was like, man, this seems really feels
So
really similar.
You can talk to all the animals, but you're a human, but no other humans are there. Is that
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
But you all can communicate with each other. And it's fine.
Yeah, and you
Huh,
don't
cool.
talk either. You can like respond sort of, but it's like real basic dialogue on your end.
Okay.
But it's fun. You can like fish and plant things and decorate your house, and it's cool. Like,
Is
the
your-
seasons change?
I guess that with life simulator games, it's not necessarily that. But is there like a goal to it? Like, are you trying to make the best farm or something?
No,
Or not really?
I guess trying to get the biggest house. and
Okay.
then you can decorate it and make it really cool.
Sure.
But I guess that's the goal of the past games I've played. If I'm wrong, please correct me, whoever's
Sure.
listening. But like, I think that's the main point. Is like you get the biggest house, pay it off, and then you're just doing stuff.
Okay, so the game doesn't really end.
No,
The simulator
it's- yeah.
games don't really end.
Yeah, it doesn't. It does not
Typically,
end.
unless they like have it where like after 50 years it ends, or
Yeah,
something. You know,
'cause
like
you're
they
dead. Yeah.
they make a time limit on you.
No.
But otherwise, it's like you
Yeah.
just get to do stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, it just it goes on.
That's
forever.
awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Maybe if we both end up having Switches someday, then maybe this will end up being games.
Dude, I would for sure buy a Switch to play Animal Crossing, 100%.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe that will be in our future someday. But yeah, that's awesome. Other things I really liked. I love the music in this game. I've been listening to it on my Spotify
Oh, really?
since playing. Yeah, I
Nice.
can't stop. I love it.
Yeah.
Just these good instrumentals and like
Super chill.
yeah, it's great. And the Alec Halaka guy who helped make the game, he made all the music for the game too. So it's like
That's impressive.
that's some talent. Like
Yeah.
I don't know which parts of the game he made, like if he was the animation guy or the writing guy or which one he did. I don't remember, but like that you're
Whatever he
also the
did.
music guy though.
Yeah.
Like damn, that's talented.
Like, give that dude a fucking $1 million.
Right, I
Make
know.
more games.
So someone should take a dump truck of money to these guys to make whatever their next game
Yeah.
is, because like shit's gonna be good. We all know it. Like
Yep.
Officially, but I love the music. I really like the art style. Before coming into play, I was like, I don't know, is gonna play as animals like in a side-scrolling thing? Is that gonna work?
Yeah.
And it did. It was great, 100%.
Yep.
And was maybe even better because of it. Like I don't know if I could see this with people now.
I couldn't either. It just made sense. It just fit with animals.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It just worked quite well.
Even like all the names of things were like Snack Falcon or like Possum Springs, or there's like a there was a bunch of other animal things that
Yeah.
got closed down or something like that. So it was like everything felt right about it being animals.
Yeah, it did. I didn't miss not having voice actors. That was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if we've played any games that have dialogue but not voice actors, like on the show.
Oxenfree?
Oh yeah, there weren't. Or no, they had voice actors.
Did they?
You just had the text bubbles for what you choose though.
Oh yeah.
But they did have voice actors. That's
Okay.
right. Yeah. I thought that for a second. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, they had voice actors too. But
Okay.
pretty much they all. have had voice actors, or if they don't, there's not dialogue. Like it's like a mute game, no voice, no voices or whatever. So this was pretty cool. Like I like that a lot. The Bull Awards, it looked cool. Like it looked good, even like all around awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Like the dialogue was really good. I felt myself. Yeah, I didn't need any voices. I almost preferred it not having voices, because then you could like focusing on the music, or sometimes there'd be no music playing, and it's like, oh man, this is like somber or something like that. It was really good. And then some of the dialogue was really good. Anything that May said was like, I like this. It was pretty funny. Sometimes the choices were like, oh, I don't want to say either of these things.
Right.
But to play as May as you actually probably would, they would make sense.
Right. You don't get a good option sometimes.
Yeah, no. Both sarcastic, and one's maybe more fucked up than the other one. But sometimes I think I'd generally choose the less abrasive one.
Yeah.
If I could, but sometimes it wasn't really clear which one was less abrasive.
Right. Yeah, I definitely had some where I chose something and was like, oh shit, it was that.
Yeah.
But it didn't
glass him.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like glass him in a way that the consequences were bad.
Yeah.
Instead it was like, that's kind of May.
Yeah.
like Big B wouldn't feel like a person who would get that wrong.
Yeah.
But May, sure.
Yeah.
Like, because there were times where May's like trying to describe a word and she's like really fucking wrong.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, man, I feel like every second of the dialogue was like really good.
Yeah.
So I want to go back and talk to more side characters, because I bet there's even more really good dialogue.
Something I did a little bit when I was like getting ready for the episode or whatever is I was watching a playthrough where people were doing the voices themselves as they played through.
Oh, really?
So it was like if we played through and I always did May's voice and you always did Greg's or something
That'd
like that.
be pretty cool.
And it was like kind of fun to hear it, but then at the same time I was like, I'm glad I just had to read it. Like, I'm glad that just reading it is them instead of like this voice actor is them, kind of. Like, I think it worked.
Yeah.
Because if like the voice actor somehow felt wrong, I think it would have kind of hurt.
You can almost put yourself, like, you almost have you like read it and you're like listening in your head, like, oh, this is probably how they sounded. It almost puts you more into the game because you can't hear them.
Oh, like reading a book.
Yeah.
Like when you read a book, you have to make up voices in your head for like, oh, this is probably how Gandalf sounds, or you know, I mean, I guess if you've seen the movie, then you have a voice, but
I've seen the movie before I read the book. So
right. Yeah. So it fills it in, but you know that kind of thing. You're like, oh, this is how this sounds. Like you have it in your own head, or whatever, and. I had Pennywise in my head, so I read it before I ever saw the movies, and so I'm like, okay, this is how Pennywise the Clown sounds. Here's how the Losers Club. Here's what they probably talk like, or whatever. And now seeing them is fun, but like I already had my own visions of or views of how they probably sounded because I read the book before or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. There's that. And I guess my last thing you mentioned, but I enjoyed meeting various characters around town. Everyone really felt like real people again. I think just. I don't know. Obviously, we play a lot of video games, and so you meet characters who don't feel like people at all sometimes in games.
Yeah.
It's just like they're like a persona, not even a personification. Like they're this trait, or like they're
like embodied, like courage embodied. And like, you're not a real person.
Right? Yeah, exactly, or that kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool because this just felt like a lot of real stuff. Like, I felt like these, you know, if I was put in May's body, this could be a life that I could have actually lived or something like that. Like, it felt that relatable.
Yeah, and then even, I guess I didn't really interact with townspeople that much, which, again, I'm going to go back and hopefully do. But like, even, like, Greg, Angus, and B were, like, I have friends like each of them in some ways, which is pretty cool. Yeah, super cool. Last, I guess we got general thoughts from other people. Lore Party wrote in, and they said, you mean, so I asked if people had general thoughts, and they said, you mean besides the fact that it's an amazing story-driven indie game? Yeah. That's a pretty good thought.
That's I fully agree.
Brendan on Twitter says, just that it was a very good and moving game that I need to replay. I'm very excited that it's getting a physical release from @Limited Run Games. I'm definitely going to replay it too. Yeah,
definitely going to replay. Yeah, I saw Limited Run Games. They're going to actually make a physical copy, so you could buy like a disc of this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think they're doing it for, I think PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
That makes sense.
Something like that.
I think that's where the Switch game comes out, or comes from.
It's already on Switch.
Oh, is it?
But,
okay.
Yeah, it's already on it, but physical copy, though, it's like, oh man, it'd be kind of cool to own a physical copy if that's your thing. Adam on Twitter wrote in and said, while I enjoyed the story and I love all your friends, it's a lot of the side stuff that stands out to me. Things like the stories you'd see on the street, like the lady who wants to quit or the poet.
Yeah.
I love the mini games from Guitar Hero to knife fighting. Just all that stuff.
Yeah. Video games and art on Twitter says, friendship and intimate relationships are the central themes of this story. Being able to express feelings of apparent security mixed with nostalgia for familiar places and people, but also feelings of time flowing, youth fading, decay advancing. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a lot of that too. Like, you definitely build a lot of close relationships, but I feel like you're coming at it from a deficit almost, and like you kind of see, okay, things are different than they used to be, but we can still build something cool. But I'm also sad that things aren't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, good stuff. Lastly, Nikki on Twitter says, unfortunately I haven't played it, but holy fuck do I love the aesthetic I see from the screenshots. The aesthetic is great.
Yes, it's a great game. Great looking game.
Yeah. Upon seeing it, I was like, I'm interested even though I'm not sure about animals. Like, that was kind of my feel going in.
You hate animals.
Yeah. Hate them. No.
Hate them.
I hate them. No, I was like, I don't know, is this gonna like land? Like, will it feel cheesy or something? That was my concern before playing.
Yeah, is it too weird?
Yeah, is it too weird? But I was like, I really like how it looks, and everyone says that, like, you know, if you like Oxenfree or Life is Strange or that kind of genre of games, you'll like this. And so I'm like, that's enough to try it out, and we'll see where it lands. And happily, it landed being great.
Yeah, whoever said those things is right.
Yeah, it was
if you
great.
like those games, you will probably like this game too.
Yeah, it was great. A lot of fun. Everything I'd hoped for and more. It was awesome.
Great game.
Yeah. So that wraps up Night in the Woods. If you've got comments or other thoughts on Night in the Woods or anything else, you can hit us up on Twitter at StoryEverPod. You can email us at TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed@gmail.com. If you could rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, that would help out a lot. Just, getting our podcast in front of more faces and more people who like games like we do. And, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Later.